Hello again. We're going to do our next day of notes. If you're working at home, or make sure that you are filling it out in your spiral notebook, the next page in your notes. We're going to title this Multiplying and Dividing Fractions. Okay, remember when you're working at home, you can always pause the video if I go too fast. Okay, this should be review again, but we're just making sure that we're all on the same page moving forward. So let's start first with multiplying fractions. So when we do this, the steps are going to be to multiply the numerator, both numerators. Remember, those are the top numbers. The next step is going to be to multiply the denominators. Remember, those are the bottom numbers. And then the final step is going to be to reduce the fraction if needed. Okay, so let's look at our first example. Say I have 2/5 times 3/4. So look at our example. It says multiply the numerators. Oops, excuse me on that one. Multiply. So we're going to do 2 times 3, and that gives us 6. Then it says multiply the denominators. So 5 times 4 is 20. And then it says reduce if needed. So these are both even numbers, so I know immediately I can divide by 2. And that's going to give me 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And then those two numbers can't be divided by anything else the same. So that's it, 3/10. Okay, let's look at example 2. Say I have 3/5 times 2/3. Again, I'm going to multiply the top. 3 times 2 is 6. Multiply the bottom. 5 times 3 is 15. And then see if I can reduce. So these two numbers, what can they both be divided by? They can both be divided by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then 2/5 is simplified as much as it can be. All right, now let's look at dividing. When I'm dividing, I'm going to keep, change, flip, or KCF. So what that means is K stands for keep the first fraction the same. C stands for change division to multiplication. And F stands for flip the second fraction. So that means I'm taking the reciprocal. Okay, so let's look at that in action. Say I've got example 1 here. I've got 1/5 divided by 1/3. So if I want to keep the first fraction the same, 1/5 stays, right? If I want to change division to multiplication, I do that. And then I want to flip the last fraction. So 1/3 becomes 3/1. Okay, now I just have a multiplication problem. So I'm going to multiply like above, where we had our steps up top, right? So multiply the numerators. 1 times 3 is 3. Multiply the denominators. 5 times 1 is 5. And then this is already in simplest form, so I don't need to reduce. Let's do one more of those. Example 2. Say I have 2/3 divided by 1/2. So keep the 2/3. change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. So instead of 1 over 2, it becomes 2 over 1. Then I multiply by like normal. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. And notice I've got an improper fraction. So look back to yesterday's notes if you need to. Remember, it's 4 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one whole time with a remainder of 1. So our mixed number is going to be 1 whole and 1/3. 1 and 1/3 would be our final answer there. Okay, so for your assignment today, your practice, you are going to be working on the multiplying and dividing fractions paper. Again, the coloring is optional. If you don't want to do this side, you don't have to. What I do need to see is all your work written out for these. So if you have a mixed number, turn it into an improper and then do your multiplying and dividing. If you forgot how to do that, look back at yesterday's notes. Okay? Again, until we get our laptops, you're welcome to just complete it on paper and turn that in with your work. If you're submitting it digitally, make sure you take a picture of your work to submit with your assignment. All right? Write down any questions you have and we'll look at it in class the next time I see you. Have a good day.